I came with empty pockets from N'Djamena. I will leave with the pockets too full.
Good results for Chad returning from Paris with more than $20 billion in funding intentions. The PND, the National Development Plan 2017-2021, which was the subject of the roundtable organized by the Chadian government, convinced and seduced the donor community. The latter has shown a real enthusiasm for the country of Tomé. Bilateral, multilateral and private sector investors have thus competed in their support for Chad.
Pour notre plan cadre d'assistance de développement 2017.
For our 2017-2021 National Development Plan, we already have $166 million available from the agencies. In addition, we intend to mobilize close to $1 billion from our donors over the next 5 years.
La Banque mondiale a prévu un appui de 1,1 milliard.
The World Bank has provided $1.1 billion in support for this National Development Plan. We're also working with the government on structural reforms in the sectors that are covered by the UNDP. We're also working in regional activities, and we're very involved in supporting the refugee effort.
The amount of $540 million for its public window.
Ce montant représente environ,
which is in addition to double the number of operations currently underway in 13 operations in Chad. It comes first to finance the budget support operations, where 20% of this amount is to help consolidate the macroeconomic framework. The remaining three-quarters will be for investment projects within the framework of the 5 priorities of the African Development Bank, which are in synergy with the axes 2, 3, and 4 of the National Development Plan.
du Plan national de développement.
Je peux vous annoncer l'octroi d'une aide de 223 millions.
I can announce the granting of 223 million euros in support for the implementation of the Chadian National Development Plan for the period 2017-2021. This represents, Mr. President of the Republic, ladies and gentlemen, a substantial effort by France. It will be based on an extension of budget support of 10 million euros already granted in 2016 and will be renewed in 2017, 2018 and 2019. In addition, 40 million euros in concessional budget support will be granted in 2017 under the new IMF program.
Du FMI.
It is a proud and grateful Chad that emerges from the roundtable for the financing of its NDP with financing intentions that far exceed expectations and which should enable it to finance the Priority Action Program valued at 5,538 billion CFA francs, including a global forecast gap of 3,710 billion CFA francs.
Au terme de la fructueuse conférence de mobilisation des ressources,
at the end of the Fruitful Resource Mobilization Conference, with a view to funding the priority activities of the National Development Plan for 2017-2021, I would like to express my gratitude to you, not only for your active participation and in particular for your valuable contributions. I'm pleased to express my full appreciation to all the institutions, to all the friendly countries which have demonstrated a real impulse of solidarity towards Chad and the Chadian people. I admit that I'm very honored and sensitive to the announcements of the financial contributions that have been made.
Nous sommes venus à Paris sachant ce que nous voulons.
We came to Paris knowing what we want. We are looking for a financing gap of nearly 3 trillion CFA francs. Today, the resources announced, which will be immediately mobilized, as some of them have already been signed yesterday and today, amount to a little more than 20 billion euros for all sectors combined, private and public, of which 13 billion US dollars for purely private investments and 7 billion US dollars for the investment of government projects. All this amount does not include mega government projects such as railway construction, airport construction, that have also been well appreciated by the international private sector, and some foreign direct investments that are being implemented with the government so that international private individuals settled in Chad with turnkey companies will make investments profitable.
The success of the Paris Roundtable is the fruit of an inclusive and participatory process that has integrated technical and financial partners, including the UNDP, the United Nations Development Programme. In line with the orientations of its support program in Chad, the UNDP has accompanied the country's authorities throughout the process, from the development of the plan to the mobilization of funds.
The
UNDP sponsored this roundtable, so we worked with the government, especially in relation to our office in N'Djamena, Chad, and I'm with the country director here. They have assisted the government in preparing the documentation, ensuring the implementation of the support, to try to work with the different participants and helping to run the session. Somewhere we are the partners behind the scenes to ensure that this roundtable is held with other partners such as the World Bank. You've said it right before, this went beyond expectations. Just by looking at the gap and the announcement made, the Friends of Chad responded to the call previously launched. We are very grateful because somehow it is important to be able to invest in Chad. This will give the kickoff, which will also enable investment within the National Development Plan, a development plan with a long-term vision. The intentions henceforth formulated, the time is for action, as the head of the Chadian state indicated. He set the tone as soon as the many promises of financing made. The private sector, which has also made promises exceeding the financing needs of the country, $13 billion, while $2 billion were thought, is equally determined to meet the challenge of structural transformation of the Chadian economy, as expected by the National Development Plan.
I very much hope that we'll be prompt to set the stage for announcements and promises in order to take action. This will enable us to effectively implement the relevant projects and programs in which you have expressed interest. I can assure you, dear friends, that the government will take care of this development program. Appropriate monitoring and evaluation mechanisms will be put in place to ensure the optimal implementation of the National Development Program according to our expectations and orientations.
On est à la première marche d'un étage qu'il faut gravir.
We are the first step of a floor that must be climbed. We have to get to work. It means listening, using effective methods, and above all, making sure that the partners are behind us. I believe that with this amount of money, the Chadian private sector will definitely be able to separate from the public treasury. Because through this amount, we can have a genuine start to a true independent economy, and I think all non-state actors are aware of the role they are being asked to play in this new chart.
Tous les acteurs non étatiques sont conscients du rôle qu'on leur demande dans ce nouveau.
We came to Paris with a spirit, and I think we will return to Chad with another spirit. It is a new start for us, and we do not want to miss it as far as the private sector is concerned.
Ne pas le rater en ce qui concerne le secteur privé.
Indeed, with its 4 strategic axes, the National Development Plan of Chad envisages a diversification of the sources of economic growth and a dynamization of the growth sectors such as agriculture, livestock, fisheries, and mines, among others.
Pour retrouver, par exemple, dans la vision 2030.
For example, in the 2030 vision and in the National Development Plan, which is the first 5-year plan that the government intends to implement to achieve its vision of emergence in 2030, this National Development Plan focuses on 4 priorities: national unity and social cohesion, strengthening governance, and the rule of law, talking precisely of a diversified, competitive, and productive economy. And all this to reach the 4th axe, which is the improvement of the life and conditions of the Chadian population. What is important for the UNDP is that at the emergence of 2030 and for the first plan by 2017, we must see an improvement in the Human Development Index in Chad. The government is making a lot of effort, but knowing that it is a huge country with an area of 1,284 square miles, it is a country with 3 types of climates: the Sahelian, the Saharan, and the Sudanese climate. And that ranges from 300 millimeters of rain in the north to 1,300 millimeters of rain in the south. So we have to take that into account when we talk about agriculture. And it is also a country with 15 million inhabitants. Now, when you talk about 15 million inhabitants, you have to talk about resources.
Nous voulons accélérer le développement économique du Tchad.
We want to accelerate the economic development of Chad. We have a lot of dormant potentialities, and we have decided why not transform them immediately. Take the tourism sector. Chad is a great tourist country because it is a miniature version of Africa. The center of gravity of Africa is in Chad, but very few people talk about it. So we will develop the tourism sector. Chad has more than 100 million head of livestock, with a growth rate of 4% per year. It is also a great wealth that must be quickly transformed. Our objective is to reinforce and accelerate the structural transformation of the Chadian economy so that Chad contributes more to the development of Africa, because the President of the Republic has taken inspiration from the African Union Agenda 2063 and the objectives of sustainable development. Today, if we achieve a growth rate of 5 to 6%, because we are emerging from a crisis that everyone knows, a 5% growth rate is a good thing. But we are very cautious, and I think we might go beyond, because you've seen how investors are rushing in Paris. You saw that there was no space in the conference room. It means that Chad is an admired country, which attracts and offers all the possibilities to make profitable investments at a very high rate.
Chad's oil-related economy has seen its growth rate fall from more than 6% in 2014 to less than 2% in 2016 due to the fall in the price of oil and the decline in domestic production. With its new 5-year development plan, which augurs well for better tomorrows, the country thus sets the stage for its emergence planned for 2030.